There are many different types of paintbrushes for many different projects. I want to address the most common paintbrushes that you will find in many paint shops. So the first brush that I want to talk about is there on the left. It's called a lay-in brush. That brush is a very large brush for doing things like painting in large areas in painted backdrops and other types of scenery. Next brush over is called a chip brush. It's one of my favorite brushes because it's very inexpensive and it has those nice natural bristles. Most often when I'm basing a scenic unit, I will grab a chip brush. The next brush that you see right there is called a sash brush. So the bristles on a sash brush are synthetic rather than the natural bristles on the first two brushes. And the sash brush has that angle at the top. That angle is so that you can cut in a really nice, clean line. These sash brushes are designed for house painting to get up into the corners. The last group of brushes that you see are called fitch brushes. Fitch brushes are a typical scenic painter's tool. Brushes come in 7 different sizes, starting with a 3-inch on the left, going all the way down to 1/4 inch size. As you can see on the right, the 3 main parts of the paintbrush are the bristles. We have synthetic and natural, which is fairly easy to see that difference. The ferrule, which is the metal part that holds the brush together, and the handle. I cannot stress enough how important it is to clean out your paintbrushes. Murphy's oil soap is a really inexpensive and efficient soap to clean out your paintbrushes. Enjoy this quick demo. So I want to talk to you about cleaning brushes. It seems like it's the most obvious thing, but I've found because we don't want to take the time to get them really clean that we ruin a lot of brushes. I want to talk to you really quickly. So this is the bristle of the brush, this is the ferrule, this is the handle, and then right in here, again, this is called the paint well. This is a fitch brush, and then this is just a little 3-inch chip brush. So again, handle, ferrule, bristles, and then in this one you can see that paint well a lot more easily. Both of these have natural bristle brushes, and so what we're going to do is we are going to use Murphy's oil soap to clean them out. So Murphy's oil soap is a soap designed to clean hardwood floors. So since hardwood floors and these bristles are both natural, what it does is it cleans it out and then it also conditions those fibers. So the first thing you want to do is rinse out your brush when you're done painting. If you're working on a project, you want to have a bucket of water with you so that you can swish your brush down in there and get some of that paint off. Don't leave your brush sitting out with paint on it. It'll make it really difficult, if not impossible, to clean it out. When you get over to the sink, you're obviously going to turn the sink on. You're going to get it wet. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to sit there and work it with your hands until you get most of that paint out, till you can really hardly see the paint at all. And you're going to think, well, it's done, but it's not. So after you've gotten most of the paint out, then you want to use the Murphy's oil soap. Here at our shop, I have it in this other little container, just to make it easier to put on your paintbrush. So what you're going to do is you're going to get it on there and you're going to swirl it around on your hands. So what I see a lot of people doing is they'll just try to smush their brush off in the bottom of the sink. That doesn't really work. You have to use your hand. Particularly with these chip brushes, what you find is after you hang it up, you think it's clean and a bunch of paint then drips down to the tips of your bristles. So you just want to take your finger and you want to get in and get all that space in the ferrule. You want to get that cleaned out in that paint well. So you got to scrub it, scrub it, scrub it, scrub it, and swirl it, swirl it, swirl it. I like to swirl those bristles. And then what I don't want you to do is turn on your water and put your brush under it like this. So
because what's happening is the water is going down into those bristles and it's forcing that paint into the ferrule. If you get a ton of paint down in your ferrule, your bristles are going to what's called bloom, and you'll never get them back together. So if you look at this brush, it is an example of a paintbrush that has sort of bloomed. If you look down here at the base of those bristles, you can see that there's paint in there and it's just dried out in there. And if you look at the very end, you can see there's holes in that. You might be able to recover this, but probably not. So the Fitch brushes are a little more difficult to get all that paint out of because it's very, very dense bristles. But they're also very expensive, and so you need to get that paint out. After you've scrubbed your bristles with soap, then you want to turn the water on and get all of that out of there. Never take your brush and smack it on the side of the sink. It's not a good idea because all you're doing is smacking that, and you're going to just break the ferrule from the handle, break it all loose. So that's not a good idea. What you can do is you can just kind of sling it, flip out that paint, do that to get the water out, and then you want to hang it upside down just like this so that it can just sit there and dry.